Wow, that's all I can say. What an event that was. This weekend was the 2024 CDL champs, and every day has seemed to get better, with the matches being extremely competitive. And in today's video, I'm gonna break down day 3 and champ Sunday all in one video, because I didn't want to just cover one series in the last video, so I just combined them. But this event was so much fun to watch, and OpTic clutched up when it mattered. We got some great matches to look into, so let's take a look at the last event of the 2024 CDL season. And with the beginning of day 3, there was only one winners bracket match, and that was OpTic versus NYSL. All the other matches were elimination matches. You lose, it's time to go on vacation. And we had a much anticipated match to start the day, one that I've been waiting for a few months, just because there's been so much trash talk and hype building around this matchup. We had Toronto Ultra going against Atlanta FaZe. Things got personal between Draza and Scrap, and they've been going back and forth for the last few months. Whoever lost the match had to go home, so this was the full circle moment. After all of that trash talk all year, it came down to this match, and FaZe has had a historic season so far. The trio of Simpcell and Abizi have been together for years, and they've always been consistent. They've been in positions like this before, and they've managed to pull it away. But on the opposite side of the stage, Scrap and Ultra were ready to get down to business, and in the map 1 6-star hardpoint, things started to get scrappy. On map 1, Insight stepped it up, going 27-16, 2 minutes and 30 seconds in the hill, helping his team get a dub on the first map, and Scrap had to let Draza know. FaZe's S&D struggles continue, and that is a key reason why they lost this event. Ultra came out swinging in the map 2, and after Scrap did this, Draza was not going to take that disrespect, and he bounced back into map 3, hitting this nasty 4-piece on Ultra.
To extend this series. There's not in this position all that often. Draza, my God, dial up 4.
But it just wasn't enough. Surprisingly, on an attacking round, Ultra ended up beating FaZe, who just broke down in this series, knocking FaZe out at top 6. And this is Simp and Abizi's worst champs placement after 6 seasons of teaming. And you already know Scrap was letting them hear it.
It's going. It's going. It's done. It's done. FaZe are out. Ultra win.
And after this full circle matchup, Toronto Ultra are now 4-0 versus Atlanta FaZe on LAN this year. I'm sure this beef is going to continue on. I always get excited when they play against each other, but that was the last time they played this year. And the Toronto Ultra move on, with Envoy being the player of the match. It was getting pretty wild too. There was FaZe fans crashing out and fighting in the venue. When I went to the Miami event, people were getting arrested outside. Now people are getting arrested in the champs venue. I mean, the chaos just never stops. It's just... Bro, it's so funny. I don't know what be happening at these events, but anyways, on the second match of the day, it was another closely contested series. LAT went up against Miami Heretics, and Ghosty has been carrying his squad this entire week, and he was not letting his foot off the gas for this series. On a map 1 Vista hardpoint, Ghosty and Kremp stepped up big for the team, dropping over 30 kills. And even though Vickle nearly had a 40-piece, Miami wasn't able to take the map, and it was looking like strictly business from the Thieves. Predicted LA Thieves to win this match. I just think that they are the better team, and just with how they've been playing at this LAN event, they outdid everybody's expectations. After this first map on the Vista hardpoint, it was kind of wraps after this. LA Thieves just started taking over. After a 6-3 win on the Invasion Search and Destroy, there's not much to say about map 3. They 3-0'd Miami with a convincing win.
Heretics brought down again. Last man, and that was it. The LA Thieves.
And guess who was at the top of the leaderboard? That boy Dan Ghosty with a 1.55 KD and 13k damage. I mean, this guy just does a little bit of everything. And after seeing a box score like this, it's pretty clear to see why Miami lost. They just couldn't get their guns firing in this series, and they were knocked out along with Atlanta FaZe, with the top 4 teams remaining, that being Toronto, LA Thieves, NYSL, and OpTic Texas. The OpTic NYSL matchup is always a fun one to watch. They had to battle it out for a chance to play at the grand finals. And what a series this was. OpTic started the series off slow despite the home crowd hyping them up, and at one point they were down 147-36, and things were looking hopeless. The crowd was starting to get quiet, but you can never count OpTic out. After a couple hard points, they started piecing a comeback together, and then next thing you know, around the 200-point mark, they tied the game. It was just down to 2 rotations after that.
Backdoor finds himself a second kill. OpTic are going to find the break. One more player in the action.
They went on to the map 2 in the invasion search and destroy. OpTic was looking like they were going to go up 2-0, and they were up 5-3, and the 5-3 curse is real. I was trying to tell y'all. With NYSL taking the second map, Shotzi was cooking though. He had 16 kills, but on the other side with NYSL, Hydra and Sib were everything for this team this weekend. And going into the invasion control, OpTic were not trying to let their foot off the gas, coming back with a 3-1 victory on the invasion control. And then it almost happened again. At one point in the map, they were down 200-92, and then they brought the map back and tied the game at 245, and it was looking like they were going to pull off another incredible comeback.
Opportunity for New York to force the rotation, and OpTic are out. And subliners, they can no longer win it at this hard point, but they are blessed with the rotation over towards New. She's able to find the double, but OpTic Texas need to continue to apply the pressure. A big one-on-one gunfight on the mini-map. It's got to be Kenny. It has to be Kenny. He needs to keep his life. He finds one off the hard point. Shotzi finds the kill. Hydra, Sib, the last two left. And opportunity send this to 5. Kadashi get there? No!
But it wasn't enough, because in the map 5, OpTic had the clutch factor. In the invasion S&D, Pred stepped up massive for this team, and despite it only being his first year on the team, he clutched up in one of the biggest matches of the tournament, sending OpTic to the grand finals, effectively sending NYSL to the losers bracket to play the winner for LA Thieves versus Toronto Ultra. For some people, this match would be like a DoorDash, but LA Thieves turned up this event and they were not trying to lose, and they were matching up with these top 4 teams really well. And in the first hardpoint, despite Envoy having 37 kills in a minute 30 on the hill, Kremp, the sub for the LA Thieves, proved to be resilient and led the team to a 250-213 win, and they were locked in.
So it is going to go to Statue, but you've already got 2 in position on the other side. It's going to be Kremp, it's going to be Joe Deceives. Joe able to take out one. Kremp trying to pop as he's able to take out another. They're in, they win it, Thieves go up.
Talk crazy to OpTic on Friday, but I think they learned from it because, you know, they got reverse swept. So in this series, it was strictly business. Toronto was dominant in the S&Ds versus LA Thieves, and on the second map, Invasion S&D, CleanX went 13-3 with 11 non-traded kills, and S&D wins championships. The S&Ds were solid from Toronto Ultra, and it's ultimately what helped them win this series. And you already know he was chirping back and forth, but Joe Deceives was doing everything he could not to lose, and the whole team started turning it up and ultimately won the Game 4 Rio hardpoint, bringing it to a map 5 on a Rio S&D, and Joe Deceives was saving these spots for champs.
Trying for a different spot. Trying for a different spot. Oh, no! Yeah! Laugh it up, Chuckleberry Finn! I bet you're having a great time! Nasty able to get another.
It's a pretty insane wallbang spot that he used, and he used it a few times, and Ultra wasn't countering him, so he just kept on doing it. And finally in the last round, they countered him and ended up taking the dub against LA Thieves in a closely contested match where LA Thieves very well could have won this if a few gunfights went differently, like with this intense 1v1 with Kremp and Envoy.
Pressure on Kremp to work this. Time's dwindling. 20 seconds. Here we go. Spot is in. Smoke is out. Kremp's got to go. Envoy holds. Envoy wins it. And now he's involved.
Things came down to the wire, but Ultra won the series. And despite losing to LA Thieves on the first day, Scrap and Ultra bounced back, winning when it mattered and advancing to play NYSL in the losers finals. I had to say shout out to Ghosty, shout out LA Thieves, man. They made an incredible tournament run. They're going to have some great futures ahead of them, and I'll be interested to see if they end up staying together in the offseason. But what a great champs run from them, placing top 4. And on the Toronto Ultra side of things, CleanX and Scrap led the charge, but things were only going to get harder. For the losers finals, NYSL took on Toronto Ultra, and this matchup was so 50-50. Starting on the Karachi hardpoint, there wasn't anybody standing out on the stat sheet. It was honestly back and forth all the way to the end, but a few rotations changed things up for Toronto, and they ended up taking this map by only 30 points. Really, anyone could have had this one.
Their last break attempt. Can they get here in time though? Envoy for the first, but a team name comes through. New York have to sprint to get onto the hard point. Insight shuts him down from the front. One more player contesting up top. It's Hydra. Would be a time for him to pop off, but it's not gonna happen. And Ultra take map 1.
But But in the S&D, it was a different story because NYSL came out swinging. Skies had a few rough series here and there, but in this S&D, he turned up going 10-1. Like, this dude had a 10 KD. That's insane. And nobody on Toronto Ultra could find an answer. And on the third high-rise control, Skies did not bounce back with a performance like he had on the map 2. He actually did the complete opposite. He went 9-19 this map. I was really impressed with Hydra and Sib this event. These dudes were going crazy, but they didn't manage to win the third map, and they had the chance to redeem themselves on the Vista hardpoint, and that's exactly what they did. Every series New York played this weekend went to a map 5, and this series was no different. Scrap was filling up the stat sheet with 33 kills, but Sib was doing the exact same thing, and the teams were fighting back and forth, just scrapping for this map. NYSL just played it a little bit better, throwing Skies in the hill this game, eventually sending us to a game 5. Sib went huge for them this map. To start the match, things were looking pretty even, but Sib just got into takeover mode and started frying Toronto Ultra. Kleenex had an especially difficult map going 1-8, but on the NYSL side, Kismet also had a difficult time going 1-6. So it was just like a 3v3 at that point, and Hydra and Sib clutched up, especially with this final 2-piece from Sib.
Skies across the map, finds a second. Now Sib left in the 1v2 on this side of the map. He finds the first 1v3. Off the reload! Oh my goodness!
And just like that, Toronto Ultra season is over, and they placed third at the 2024 CDL champs, taking home 320K. That's a great payday, you know? And it was just down to 2. Champs Sunday, OpTic versus NYSL. NYSL, the defending champs, and OpTic, a chance to create history for the biggest COD esports organization, and day 4 was insane.
10.
OpTic and NYSL started on day 4. Challengers champs got a chance to play on the main stage, which is really cool for those guys. I feel like if they grind the whole event in the challenger station, they deserve to be on the main stage for the final one. With RCD's team, Lore Gaming, playing against Purge and Awakening's team, Omit GG. And it was a great series. They battled all the way to the final map, and RCD's 2Real, Paulex, and Yuli ended up taking home the gold for the Challengers Champs Grand Finals. RCD's was dropped from Seattle earlier this year, so it's really cool to see that he bounced back and got a ring of his own, just in a different way. But now on to the real grand final, OpTic versus NYSL. And the storylines have been brewing all year, especially with Sib and Pred, former teammates last year on Seattle Surge, now battling against each other on the biggest stage of them all. And they came out with a real life orchestra. Before OpTic came out, you know, the OG OpTic Dynasty popped out, and it was really cool to see them make another champs appearance. And then the new generation of OpTic took the stage along with the defending champs, the New York Subliners. This was a best of 9 series, so it's first to 5, and this series was domination. And they started off strong with the crowd support, going back and forth with NYSL on the first map. The vet Kenny going massive for this team, dropping almost 30, and Sib was on the other side firing, but it wasn't enough to keep up with the guys on OpTic. And OpTic took first Karachi hardpoint 250 to 212. Karachi is OpTic's map, so it's just hard to beat them on there regardless. And they ended up getting it again for the S&D, and this one went down to a round 11. OpTic getting the attacking round in round 11, managing to push through and get the bomb down in the round 11. And in a 1v3, Skies fell and OpTic went up 2-0. Hydra actually dropped a champs finals record with 15 kills in the S&D. So it's just sad that they ended up still losing that map. Not much you can do about that. I mean, that's just unfortunate. Going into the map 3, NYSL had a chance to respond, and that's exactly what they did. Bouncing back with a 3-1 finish on Karachi control again. They had 3 Karachis in a row, but then we finally got to a different, faster pace match on Rio hardpoint, and I'm sure the adrenaline was already pumping. They were ready to go, and it was back and forth. But then OpTic just started turning up with Pred and Shotzi, the SMG duo, leading the way. At one point, getting up 188 to 60, and it just this was no hope after this. NYSL couldn't come back from this deficit, going up 3-1 in the best of 9 with just 2 maps left to go. For the 5th map on the Invasion Search and Destroy, Pred had gotten warmed up after that 4th map and was ready to go for the 5th map. And it's funny, this is also another full circle moment. If you remember back in, I think it was Major 2 or Major 3, NYSL used this wallbang spot on Invasion S&D, but the tables turned and OpTic actually used it against them in the grand finals of champs. So what a great moment that was. Gotta love all the champ spots, you know. And it was during this map Shotzzy started to get loud. OpTic clearly had the momentum. The crowd was going insane. I'm sure the stage was shaking, the adrenaline was pumping, and they just had one more map to go, going up 4-1 in the series, with the map 6 being Invasion Control. And what do you know, this one went to a round 5 as well. But despite OpTic being on the attacking round, they already had all the momentum on their side. Pred was making plays in their spawn. Him and Shotzzy had over 30 kills this map, which just solidifies how good of a duo they are. And NYSL just couldn't keep up with OpTic in this final minute of the game, which resulted in them capping the A point and becoming your 2024 CDL champs. It has been 7 years since OpTic won champs. The last time that they won was with Formal and Scump in IW. That was in 2017. So what a crazy 7 years it's been to get to this point. People were calling for Pred to be dropped, calling for Shotzzy to be dropped, but they were not listening to the noise. They locked in at this home event in front of the home crowd, and you could just see how many OpTic fans were in the crowd, and the W is well deserved. But Karma getting another ring just in a different way. Shotzzy with the finals MVP, quieting all the doubters that have been talking about him this year. And wow, what an event this was. This was probably one of the greatest champs events that I've watched. Like, just watching it was really cool to experience, but I bet just being there was an incredible experience. So if you went to the event or you watched it, let me know what your favorite moment from COD Champs was. It was a great event, and I just feel like it brought the community together. This event just shows how good LAN Call of Duty can be, and I know the future for COD esports is bright. And with that, OpTic Texas are your 2024 CDL World Champions. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And the MW3 CDL season is officially over.